Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great evening. We pushed 80 yesterday, although we had 20-mile-an-hour winds. So we haven't had that nice 75-degree spring day without hellacious winds yet. So Mother Nature is telling us it's still a little warmer than it should be, given the cold air that rests north of us. So when it does warm up quickly like that, the winds come with it. Hopefully that will change pretty quickly. The financials are very, very strong overnight. I did not find a specific piece of news to tie to it. We did break the market out at 9.5, and the market is strong. G7 meets today to consider further sanctions on Russia. That could be part of it. Russian, quote-unquote, Russian/Ukrainian residents or nationals have still maintained control of several government buildings in the Ukraine. The Ukraine says they can't have that. It has stopped. They'll have to throw them out. That could be part of it. Then it could just be the 30-year auction. So my feeling is that it's probably more associated with dealer manipulation in the 30-year auction than any specific piece of news. Not a lot of news out overnight. French and Italian industrial production numbers missed. So the argument that the European Union's economy is not growing very fast or could even be shrinking or possibly deflation is on the rise is still intact. China missed its export numbers in a big way. The Japanese stock markets were closed yesterday. So Hong Kong and China is up in a big percentage gain overnight in spite of China's miss on their export numbers. So again, the news doesn't really make a lot of sense. Today we've got jobless claims, given the market's reactions at 318. The E-minis reaction to this number was probably the news event of the day. Import-export prices, nobody will pay any attention to, but called up 2/10 and 3/10. And natural gas inventories, a positive number for the first time this spring. 15 BCF is the forecast. So the E-minis reaction to the jobless claims number is the market's focus, then to the 30-year. Today is option expiration for the E-mini. 1875 calls was the big play yesterday. And the 50 puts. April is not a big expiration series, so it probably will have minimum input. So if you were to measure the difference between these two mathematically, 62.50 is what the mathematical close would be based on yesterday's trading action. So might be looking at a trading range in the E-mini also. So the trade that's easiest to see is failure to get through 17 to 21. Really, really good support in this 8 area, so I put 9 to 13 as the buy. It's very, very aggressive, but we've had to pay up to get in. Obviously, I'd like to do it against the 9 area or better would be pretty good. Then 5 to 1 will be our buy 2 level. I think the 30-year auction is supportive in and of itself. And that the market will find buyers, especially in that 4 to 8 area. Taking a quick look at the bond, the knob spread expanded overnight. Came back a little bit off of its highs this week. The FOMC minutes brought sellers into the knob spread. And it's recovered somewhat, but when that news hit the market, we were trading in the 920 area, and now we've gotten back up to 911. We went out yesterday in the 90406 area, so it's come back some, but people aren't falling over themselves to be long. The 30-year to the 10. So right here we've got 28 to the buck would be self-failure right here. Okay, so it's come back in then. That's interesting. They got to move the 30-year paper today, Jimmy. How are they going to do that with the knob spread coming in? Okay, last rotate down in London was 17, so 13 to 17 will be buy one. We'll count on a little help from the knob spread. And then 5 to 9. I don't think they'll break the market today. It's pretty hard. I mean, you just can't move the paper when the market is going straight down. So got no incentive to buy in that situation. Wait a few minutes and I'll be able to buy it cheaper, right? Okay, gold was up a lot last night. And again, I can't find a specific article to explain the move. We left gold yesterday wanting to be buyers. We really don't like the short side of gold. And don't know what G7 is going to do today to Russia other than rhetoric. Germany is against, or German business people and ministers are against any more sanctions on Russia because their industrial and residential natural gas needs, 30% of it comes from Russia. And they're practical men. So right here we've got 25. That's a pretty round number, so 25, 21 will be sell one. And then our 30, 33 will be sell two, leaning against the high volume number. On the buy side, London's last rotate down was 18. So we'll give it a little room right here. May have to pay up though, so 18 to 20. Buy one maybe stops below 20. And then buy two, the breakout from last night at 13 to 15. But I don't have an article, a news article or a specific news event that would explain the strength in gold other than the fact that central banks continue to do what they do. Print money. The euro is holding its gains. The dollar has gotten whacked against the euro, and that selling increased yesterday. The euro has gained against the yen. So the euro is the currency of choice. That's the long side of the spread against the dollar and against the yen in the cross-currency trading. I know that's driving Mario Draghi bat. The only chance they have of increasing, which is pretty anemic growth forecast, is to exporting to people other than EU members. Now, the EU's biggest export market is themselves. They've really streamlined the process of clearing customs and making a uniform product, and everything worked that well. But get outside of the European Union, and then the cost of the euro currency is a huge factor. And you can increase your exports quickly through currency devaluation. Okay, 25 to 35 is pretty darn good support. That's where the breakout is. London's last rotate down was 40. So we'll make buy 1 40 to 30. And then we'll make the 38.15. We'll make it 10 to 20. The breakout came from 10. And we're going to sell failure at 75. And then 90 to the buck. A strong market. This thing is trading up. And again, like I said, I don't have a specific news article to point to that would explain the move in currencies or anything else. Crude is really, really quiet overnight, so the Ukrainian problems are either built into this price or that's not what the market's looking at. So crude was actually sold in the overnight. So something's afoot in the financials, perhaps a flight to quality. I don't know. Okay, crude last night, we had a sell 103.75 to 104. That still looks reasonable. And then we got this little dent up here basically against 50, so we'll make 25 to 50 for sell 2. I would like to give it a little room. I don't, we're at 36 right now, so I'd like to pick up this area right in here. So we'll make it 75 to 103 for buy 1 with a B pattern, maybe stops beneath the buck, and then 25 to 50 for buy 2. I don't see that the Ukrainian problems are going to, break out and get materially worse. I think Russia's accomplished what they want. I think the Ukraine talks about Russia getting ready to invade, but Russia really doesn't have to. I think Russia's accomplished most of their goals. Right now, Russia's trying to figure out who's going to pay for the Ukrainian gas, and the IMF, Europe, the United States have offered a $25 billion aid package over time. So isn't it nice? Go start a war and get the United States and Europe to pay for it. We live in a world that's just absolutely, in so many ways, I mean, it just defies logic at any level. I mean, it's so, the decisions that are being made out of the world's capitals just, they defy logic. And so many of them are counter self-interest, especially out of the West these days. Every dictator in the world is operating in their own self-interest, and they're trying to grab as much as they can, given the lack of leadership out of the West these days. So I don't expect that'll stop. Okay, this 75 area right here is potential resistance, as is our 67.50 to the 68 area. Yesterday, the play in calls was 75, and the play in puts was 50. So 62.50 would be the mathematical close today. That's pretty close to where we are right now. The sentiment out there is split. Herbert says the sentiment is getting negative enough that the market can rally. Now that's a piece of news to hang your buy strategies on. There was some guy that's always wrong about market turns when he threw in the towel yesterday or the day before on CNBC. Some people came out and said it's time to buy stocks now. I mean, that's not really a good reason to hang your hat on. The economic news is mixed at best. Alcoa's earnings were better than forecast due to accounting maneuvers, not based on revenues, not based on sales growth. I believe Bed Bath missed their projections, so earnings per share is coming out right now. Alcoa's not on increased sales, beat their earnings per share. Bed and Bath, I think, missed. So the economic news is at best mixed right now. The FOMC minutes said the economy was soft enough that low interest rates and market support would have to go on for a long period of time. That would be counter what Yellen talked about in her first FOMC meeting announcement, press conference. So the news is mixed. It's plus or minus. We are close enough to new highs, to the recent new highs, to trade higher. And again, it doesn't take anything but high frequency trading. Trades on upticks, and they can create those upticks. So here we are. My guess is we're going to find a seller in this 70 to 75 area. And the high may already be in at 67.50. So I see really, really good resistance up here. Really starting at this 68 area on up. And on the buy side, we broke it out from 55. So our first buy zone will be this 55, 57. Then we're going to lean against 50, where the put play was yesterday. 50, 52 would be ideal. Having said that, 60, which is very, very close, 3 handles down, is potential support. So I'd like to buy it on the cheap. I basically see a trading range today due to option expiration. It's easier for me to be short than long because of the recent economic news, but if we don't break these support levels, we can get engaged on the long side. So selling failure to take out 67.50 to 70 is the easiest trade to see, then a 74.76 sell. Then on the buy side, I'd like to do it 55.57. It may take 60s to get in. We'll have to play that. And then would really, really like to get long against 50 because of the put play against 50 yesterday. Got to take at least 15 minutes to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy on that right now. We'll take a look at the note. We have jobless claims coming up right out of Lachute at 8:30 Eastern. The forecast is for plus 318,000 jobs. Be with you as soon as I can.